marketing plan, client calls, client work, email, maintaining your digital products, launching, creating a coaching program or a brand new course. These are probably just some of the things you're trying to figure out how to fit into your business plan. Or maybe you're trying to figure out which one to actually focus on or which one to actually do. I was in this place 6 years ago, and to be honest, I was in this place up till about a year ago. Until I would say I had an epiphany, or I finally had one of my mentors kind of smack me up across the head and made me realize something. So in this video, I'm going to share with you first how I figured out what to actually focus on in my business and what I could set free, what I could cut loose from my list. Then I'm going to walk you through how to fit the time to work on the things you do got to work on, because this is the process that I went through to finally get focused in my business and feel like I've got some organization going on in my business plan. If you can totally relate, wanting to get focused, wanting to get organized in your business, hit the like button right now so we all know we're not alone feeling this way. Before I do jump in, I want to hear a little bit from you in the comments, and what are you trying to get organized? What are you looking at your to-do list right now thinking, what should I prioritize? When should I do this? Should I do this? Share with me some of those things that are coming up for you, and let's kind of have that conversation below in the comments. Now, to get focused on what's going to actually work in your business so that you can then get organized, you first have to figure out what are you going to sell. I would recommend getting out a piece of paper right now if you can and list out all of your offers right now. Digital products, courses, coaching program, one-on-one service, whatever you are selling to make money in your business, list it all out. Then we need to make a decision on what we are going to focus on based on data. So looking at all of those offers, which offer has the highest conversion rate? So the way you're going to find this is you're going to go to that offer's, let's say, sales page, and how many sales of that offer did you get? That's going to give you your conversion rate. Which one of these offers now has the highest conversion rate? Go ahead and share with me what yours is in the comments below. I really do want to make this a back and forth conversation in the comments because I know what that feels like, and I want to help you as much as I can. And just because it's the highest converting offer does not mean that's what we're going to focus on. We got to look at a few more things. The second thing you need to look at after you look at your conversion rate is you want to look at how much money you've made from that offer in, let's say, the last 6 months. You could do all of 2023 if you want, but make it easy, go the last 6 months. This may take a little bit of work to do to dive into all your metrics, but let me show you how Google Analytics has honestly saved me in figuring this out. There are a couple different ways you can find those numbers. So Google Analytics is one of the best places to do this because it's going to track a lot of different things. But what this is telling me from January 1 to January 25, I've had over 300 people to my sales page. 67 go to the checkout. 30 go basically to the thank you page. Now, this is a one-time offer page, but when they get here, they've bought profit per view. So I know my sales page is converting at a 9%, over 9%. And I am getting traffic directly from, now I could do a little bit better tracking this because on YouTube, I tell you to go to trenalittle.com/PPV. So that could be contributing to direct traffic since we have this lower number here of YouTube. And this could also be just me talking about it on Instagram. But again, diving more into platforms is a future video. This is where you can get your metrics. You can also go into the software or where you're hosting your pages. So again, mine is Funnel Gorgeous. I can go into the stats right here. And this is actually, let's get the same time period set up, January 1 to January 25. Confirm, and we can see we had about 370 people, pretty close to the same number. These always aren't going to be equal, so you're going to just pick one place and go with it. But we can also track our conversion rates. If we do, 370 divided by 32, it's going to give us around that same conversion rate as well. What I do to make my life easier is a spreadsheet that Funnel Gorgeous offers in Funnel RX. This is one of the free courses that my coaching clients get because I want them to be tracking these metrics and telling me where they're at. So this is what measuring your funnels look like. And this is for 1 week in my profit per view funnel. I was able to track 130 views, 7 purchase, which means our conversion rate that week was 5%. This was our bump. This was our one-time offer. Now, if we look right here, these are industry standards. So they're telling us what our benchmark is. If it's green, it's above the benchmark. So we're just doing teeny tiny micro optimizing. And that's what my funnel metrics are telling me, that this offer is working. I have over a 5% conversion rate, which industry standard is over 2.5%. The bump is crushing it with a 71%, where industry standard is 30%. And again, the one-time offer is as well. So when I'm talking about your metrics, this is what I'm talking about, what you need to go get and then see what those conversion rates are. This spreadsheet is amazing because I'm able to plug this all in. I'm able to see what I made that week. And then I'm also able to see what my average cart value is, meaning it's not just $37 because 70% of people also get the bump and 85% of people also get the $37 OTO. So this just helps me make other decisions in my business, like how much I want to spend on Facebook ads, because I know on average, people who come to this page will buy about $80 worth. Now that we know which one converts the most, now that we know which one is making the most money, and maybe these aren't the same, because the last question you're going to ask yourself before you decide to focus on an offer is, do you like this offer? And you have absolute permission that if you hate that offer, you do not have to focus on that offer, okay? Your business, your rules. Just because somebody says tiny offers are working, or this person says signature courses are working, or this person says high ticket is working, you get to choose what feels best for you. Last year, I was focused on so many different offers, and I was really focused on building out this value ladder for me, having a low ticket offer that went into a course, that went into the coaching program, and it didn't really help me feel organized or focused. It actually made me feel less focused because I never knew, when am I focusing on promoting the low ticket offer? When am I focused on promoting the high ticket offer? When am I focusing on promoting the course? And how do I have time to promote all these freaking things? It became very hard for me to manage all of these offers, but it also made it very hard for me to figure out how to market these offers so that my audience, you here on YouTube, my Instagram followers, my email subscribers could have a really clear idea on what it is that I actually do. What am I actually selling? And for me to highlight and feature the biggest wins of my offers, because I had so many of them all over the place and no one knew, was this a win from this offer or that offer, or which one's right for me? Like, you've got this whole package and it's just not clear. Now, you heard me mention I was building out my value ladder, right? So that you could ascend people up your value ladder. You could get them at a lower ticket offer, get them up to the next, up to the next. I feel a value ladder strategy is great, but you want to think about a value ladder strategy as more of a 5-year plan. You're not going to be able to build out an entire value ladder in the course of 1 year. I've been working real closely with a lot of solo entrepreneurs, a lot of entrepreneurs that are trying to get to that 6-figure mark, to that 200,000 mark of revenue in a year. And it's just impossible for a business of that size to have a fully developed value ladder. And the clients I'm working with that are seeing the most success, as in bringing in the most revenue, they've picked one offer and just focused purely on that one offer. That's exactly what I am doing here in 2024. And I'm going to share with you what that strategy looks like coming up. But I personally believe that you can decide to focus on just one offer in your business and figure out how to better optimize it and how to get more people to it, whether it's through YouTube, Instagram, podcast, blogging, whatever the content you're creating. Because if you know it converts well when you looked at those conversion rates, and when I say well, anything above a 2.5% conversion rate for a paid product is good. You know that if you can just get more traffic to that offer, you can make more money on it. And you don't have to worry about changing up the sales page or doing anything fancy. That sales page is done and you don't need to put any more time into it. Now you can take your time and focus on creating content to get more people to that page. And I actually just wrapped up an entire series I did here on my YouTube channel about content marketing and my content marketing plan. I will link to that entire series right here that you can check out after this video, because one of the most important things that so many business owners don't have the time to do is create content to get people to your offer. And so they may have this great page and it may be converting well, but they're not getting enough people there to make them enough money each month. When I was doing this for myself, when I had my mentor kind of smack me across the head, this is what I decided to work on. I realized that having a DIY course like Video Strategy Academy wasn't helping my customers or my audience the best way that they could, because YouTube is a beast. There's no lie there. There's no secret formula or no secret steps to doing YouTube. It is a beast. And just giving people a course to jump in and do it is incredibly overwhelming. And so when I'm working with my clients one-on-one on my coaching program, I can help them get over that hurdle, or I can help them figure out how to readjust the way they're thinking about things on YouTube to get results results. So I decided here in 2024, I am focused on one offer, and that is coaching with me, because that's how I can get my audience the best results. Then the way I get people into my coaching program, other than talking about it here or on Instagram, is I have a paid workshop called Profit Per View every other week. And this is basically for anybody who's wanting to dip their toe into YouTube strategy. Perfect. So while I did away with the DIY course, I basically have a live YouTube strategy course every other week that shows people the right way to build a YouTube strategy and how it can actually work. After that workshop's done, I tell them I can help them take this to the next level in my coaching program. So I've gone from agency to coaching to course to low ticket to now just having a paid workshop in my coaching program. And that is it. And after doing this workshop a few times, rinse and repeating and not starting from scratch every freaking time I'm trying to grow my email list or get more leads, I'm able to look at my conversion rates and a lot of key metrics over the course of 7 workshops. And what these metrics have told me is, 1, my Profit Per View sales page is perfect. Like, it's converting above average. I don't need to test it. The funnel in it as well does great. My average cart value on that funnel is about $80 because I have a bump and I have an OTO, which that allows me to spend more money on Facebook ads. So no need to worry about that anymore. I know a top priority for me now becomes traffic. That is why we're dabbling with ads. That is why I'm here on YouTube every single week, giving you really meaty content here that will help you. And I'm also trying my hardest to be as consistent on Instagram as possible to drum up traffic to my Profit Per View sales page. And because I've already built the curriculum for my coaching program, I don't need to create more content, which allows me more time to show up and help my clients one-on-one, answer their specific questions, get to know them and their business model better so they can get better results working with me. So you see how if you can dig into one offer, what the metrics are telling you to tell you exactly where to focus, you could free up a lot of that extra work that you're doing that is just busy work. Which now leads me to the next thing that I think is really important when you're figuring out what to focus on and how to organize your business, because we looked at picking the best offer that's working for you right now and really optimizing it as best as possible without constantly creating new things. I mean, you can create new things if you want more work, but if you would like to simplify your life and your business this year, maybe think about one offer you could double down on, because the second part is figuring out how much you actually need to make this year. I'm going to be transparent and tell you, I did not know this number for a very long time. I just had this random number in my head that I thought was what would make me feel successful because that's the number people talk about out there. I didn't really connect the number I was going after to the number that I actually needed. So I basically created like an invisible finish line for me, and it caused me to stay in this cycle of pre-launch, launch, launch, pre-launch, launch, pre-launch, launch, never taking a break because never knowing if I made it to my revenue goal because never having an actual revenue goal. I just wanted more revenue, which means I just needed to create more content, which means I just needed to hire more people. And this business thing was getting heavier and heavier and heavier on me till I kind of broke last year. So I took a step back going into 2024 and thought, okay, what do I actually need to bring home to my family to feel good about that number? How much do I need to pay my team? Because I have 3 full-time employees that I will do everything that I can to keep them on board. How much do I need to make to keep any contractors that we have? And then what are my other expenses in my business so that I can pay myself the number I want to pay myself? Knowing this gave me a finish line, gave me a number that I knew would allow me to hit equilibrium in my business and stop working just to work because I think I need more. And what it showed me was I don't even need hundreds of clients to get to my goal. My coaching program, the number that I take on is 75 clients. That is it. That is all I need to hit my number that I have. And it really gives me the time freedom and the ability to get to know each one of my clients and give them personalized feedback when they need it. And once I figured this out, and even after burning down my YouTube production agency last year, which was about 60 to 70% of my overall revenue, I stopped enrolling people into my DIY course, Video Strategy Academy, and I limited what I was doing each month to 2 paid workshops that led into my coaching program. Within about 2 months, I would say for sure in 4 months, my business will be at equilibrium, meaning I am making the amount of money I need to make in my business to be good to go. Once you have these 2 things figured out, what your main offer is going to be and your end number, you can really start to narrow in what actually needs to be done to get there. We don't have to do everything people tell us to do. I know there is so much information and we can get overwhelmed overwhelmed by what everybody thinks is the right thing to do in our business. But listen, if you want a simplified business, if you want time freedom, if you want to be able to take the day off, or in my case, I'm now on day 2.5 of kids at home with the flu, you need to think about what is most important to you, what is the number that you need, and how do you want to get there. Think of your business as an onion, okay? The core of the onion is your offer. The next layer of the onion is the final number you need to make in your business to feel good and be set. The third layer is your marketing plan, how you're going to get people to your offer to help you make that number that you need. The next layer is to think about what platforms are you going to focus your time on, because you don't have to be on every single platform. Please do not show up on every single platform. It is hard for me to just show up on YouTube and Instagram as I am. And I mentioned I had 3 full-time employees. So if you are a team of 1, pick one platform. The way I was able to make my decision based on data was setting up Google Analytics. I am friends with a Google Analytics expert. She is also an expert coach in my coaching program. And for her setting up my analytics and also showing my clients how to set up their Google Analytics, you can easily log into your dashboard and see where your traffic is coming from. Not only where your traffic is coming from, but which platform converts better for you. So a lot of my traffic comes from Facebook because we've been doing Facebook ads, YouTube obviously, and Instagram. And what I see is Facebook has the lowest conversion rate because we're targeting cold audience. YouTube tends to have less people come to my sales page than Instagram, but the people who come from YouTube end up converting higher. So my YouTube conversion rate is higher than my Instagram. So I know if I continue to put my time here on YouTube, I'm good to go. I've taught this process and this system to my clients in my coaching program, and here's just a few things that they've had to say. Now that we can see how we can get more focused and organized, I'm wondering if this all makes sense for you and your business model. Do you see how you could eliminate some of the stuff on your to-do list or your list of tasks now? Comment freedom below if this is exactly what you needed to start getting focused on the right things in your business. Now, I mentioned about how I find time to do this. So I did an entire video about my Google Calendar process, and I will link that video up here, but let me walk you through real quick what I do. I highly encourage time blocking. So having blocks of time to work on different things, especially if you're a business owner, you've got different chunks of things to work on, like admin stuff, client work, marketing, basically research and development, right? Plus time to eat. I like to have a consistent schedule, so I do the same thing every weekday at the same time. I learned this from my coach, Julie Chanel, to have 2 hours every day of what she calls focus time. This is the time you have to actually work on things in your business, creating a sales page, creating a marketing plan, filming YouTube videos, building an email welcome sequence, setting up automations in your funnel. You really probably can only get about 2 hours of time broken in your schedule to do this. I like to put my focus time at the front of my day. So once the kids get on the bus and I do my morning routine, my focus time is generally from about 9:30 to 11:30. That's when my brain works the best. You shouldn't have as many tasks now to fit into that focus time since you are more focused and organized. So that should be enough time for you. Now you can start to theme these days. And for me, Mondays are metrics Mondays. This is where I look at the week prior to see, are we hitting our traffic goals? Are we hitting our conversion rates? How many people did we get in? What are our application rates looking like? So I know if the marketing plan that I developed is actually working, and I'm taking the time to look at that. And then we have a team meeting where we discuss what happened last week and what we need to do for the following week to continue to hit our goals. Wednesdays for me are generally scripting or writing days. So this may be me scripting my YouTube videos like I actually did yesterday, which was a Wednesday, and today is a Thursday. Scripting or writing Instagram captions or emails. Thursdays, like today, on good days, not on days you got to pick a child up from school with the flu, are filming days. So this just isn't YouTube videos. This could be course content, or this could be reels, or this could be B-roll, anything that involves me having to do hair and makeup, which leaves Tuesdays for me as a wild card day. So when I'm planning my week on a Sunday, I'm able to start categorizing the different tasks that I need to do and see what's kind of left over to plug into on Tuesdays. And that's right, on Fridays, I try to have most of the day off. I will leave leave it as a catch-all day. I will also use it, a great idea from a friend of mine, Ashlyn Carter of Ashlyn Writes, as a Finance Friday. So going through looking at what I made this week, what I spent this week, just to keep a clear pulse on what's coming into my business and what's going out. Now, the rest of my days, so when I start my workday at 9, from 9 to 9:30, are basically startup day routines. So checking my email, this is the only time I really check my email, checking my team Slack, checking my client Slack, and just getting caught up for the day before I roll into my focus time at 9:30. 11:30 is lunch for me. Sometimes it gets pushed a little bit back, but I tend to eat lunch around 11:30. And then my afternoons are open for calls. So I do calls with my coaching clients. We have continuing education calls. We have Q&A calls. We also have a co-working hour as well. This is also where I can take discovery calls with people. I can do podcast calls as well. And if I don't have any calls on my schedule for the afternoon, that gives me time to catch up or get ahead of schedule on things I need to work on in the next day. Now, if you're wondering what goals you should be setting to help you get to that number you need in your business, or even what metrics to be looking at to figure that out, I'm kicking off a brand new series on my channel this week, all about metrics and goals to help you grow your business this year. Make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out, and watch the video that's on your screen right now that takes you into a deep dive on the goals every online business owner should be setting and tracking. See you in that video.